Hi guys, my name is Nonima Digela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about cross-examination that Baloyi was hoping it's going to break Kwabini. Let's talk about that. Before we do that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. Kindly, please make sure you are not shy with the super thanks. It helps a lot in building these channels, buying the material and everything, the equipment. Now, let's get into this. So what we are looking at is how Baloyi was hoping he was going to use cross-examination to break Gwabini apart. So this is the same man, sorry. This is the same man in December who had absolutely no way. He didn't know what to do with Gwabini after he was done. I think he was having an internal meltdown. I think in December he was having an internal meltdown and he didn't know what to do. He did theatrics. He applied for certain, hey, I want to use the statement. The statement card is full of crap. We'll do a video on that also. Yeah, but no, do they? Hey, they shocked us with the statement. The statement left South Africa shocked because we were like, where is the corroboration that Gininda was talking about? Because right now, this statement is exactly who's this? Sizwe Zungu was saying. And now it's not talking about Gwabini. Nix. It's a copy and paste. Anyway, I was left shocked and I was also disappointed because I guess you won't expect an educated man, to become that. Wow, I don't even know what to say about Ubaloyi. So cross-examination obviously is not evidence. In South African law, it never has been. That one is obvious. It does not create facts. It does not prove guilty. It does not replace evidence. Its only purpose is to test credibility. And that legal distinction now sits at the heart of Senzo Meyiwa trial, because what the state just failed to do with Gwabini is devastating. After days of hostile, aggressive, relentless cross-examination, Gwabini did not fold. Oh, Gwabini did not fold. He was like, wena ungakulinge mjwayele kapi, because you know exactly what's happening here. You were once seated in your office with Umuhola, no Gininda, and I was threatened in front of you. And there was also a time I was offered tea. So please, Jay, don't you dare. Please, 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 please. And under oath, he consistently denied the illegal hostel bribe. Sorry, the alleged hostel bribe. He denied it constantly. Yabona, when from Nisi up to Baloyi, he denied indaba bribe. Clearly, crystal clear, he denied it. And the truth of voluntariness of the disputed confession, he denied that also. He also denied any role in planning the murder. He also denied any cover up from his side. He also denied any conspiracy from his side or any mingling with people that have anything to do with it. He also denied any instructions pertaining to this entire Senzo murder situation. He also denied any knowledge of killing before it happened, of the killing before it happened and after it happened. And most importantly, he did not materially shift. No collapse, no contradictions that destroyed his versions, no internal implosion, no admissions that handed the state a win. Nix. He dealt with them. Oh, he dealt with them. He handled everything like a pro. Just the same version, repeated, defended, and maintained. We will deal with the two parts where he was he said we will deal with that. But let's focus. The bottom line is that And the one thing that matters is that not emotionally, not theatrically, but legally, this guy maintained his composure mostly in that courtroom. As much as, but there were times, mostly he maintained his composure. He was understanding what he was there to do. Because in South African criminal law, credibility is not displaced by assertions. It is displaced by counter evidence. Where is the counter evidence of Baloyi? Let me drink. Tell me, I'm drinking. Did you get anything? Can you remember anything that is counter evidence? Luto, there's nothing there. You do not destroy a witness by suggesting that they are lying. You are destroying a witness by proving they are lying. Did Baloyi prove anything when it comes to him trying to say Gwabini is lying? Nix. Nothing. There was nothing there. Dololo. And you do not neutralize a defense witness by raising eyebrows and voice tone. When Baloyi was using facials to deal with Gwabini, did that help? Was he neutralized? No. When he was doing Nabo, net defeated, don't, Ezebezenza, did it help neutralize Gwabini? No, it did not. It did not help him in anything. And also, you can't help yourself by introducing facts that make his version impossible. That is not, and that is not going to help you. And the state has not done any of that. They failed. What they've done instead is something far more dangerous for their own case. They did something far more dangerous. Let me tell you what it is. They treated cross-examination as if it is evidence. It is not. It will never be. Sorry, let me drink. Every time a prosecutor said, I put it to you that you are lying, every time they insisted your version is false, every time they accused him of conspiracy, Gwabini said, no, that's not true. He said no, and he stood by that. And then he said no again and again and again and under oath. That matters. Because unless the state can rebut his version with counter evidence, which they don't have, not argument, not suggestions, not tone, his version legally remains alive. That's what matters. There was no bribe. And now the trial hits a procedural wall because the Criminal Procedure Act anticipates these exact moments when the defense evidence materially damages the state's case. The prosecution is not helpless. The law gives them a remedy. The right to apply to reopen their case, the right to call rebuttal evidence, the right to repair the damage. That discretion exists for a reason. It exists because sometimes a defense witness survives intact. Sometimes a defense witness lands blows the prosecution did not anticipate. Sometimes a defense witness punches holes through, in fact, straight through the state's narrative. And when that happens, the burden quietly shifts back to the states. Not legal burden of proof. That always remains with the prosecution. But the practical burden to explain away a witness who just refused to collapse. And that is where the case now sits. Because Gwabini didn't just survive cross-examination. He walked out of it with the state's theory bleeding credibility everywhere. The alleged hostile bribe, denied. The confession statement, challenged as involuntary and false. The planning narrative, rejected. The cover-up story, rejected. The conspiracy, rejected. And not once did his version materially implode. Now understand what that means in a criminal trial. It means the defense has planted a version into the record that cannot be erased by rhetoric. It must be erased by evidence. Do the state have evidence? Nothing. Dololo. Unless the state can bring rebuttal witnesses, documents, forensics, or independent proof, Gwabini's version stands. It legally stands. Not because it's popular, not because it's emotional, not because it's persuasive, but because no one has disproved it. Who has? Nobody. And here is the deeper danger for the prosecution when it comes to the entire situation. The longer the defense witness stands unbroken, the more the court is forced to confront a simple legal reality. Reasonable doubt does not require certainty of innocence. It requires the survival of a credible alternative version. And right now, Gwabini has put one on the table, and the state hasn't removed it. Have they? Please show me where did they remove it. If it's there, where they remove by remove it by side. Please show it to me. So what happens next? Either the prosecution applies to reopen its case and tries to fix what just cracked, or they press forward pretending nothing happened. And that second option, that's very vital. Because the courts do not convict on vibes, they convict on proof. And proof does not come from cross-examination. It can come from cross-examination alone. So here is the bottom line. Cross-examination is not evidence. Gwabini didn't break, and unless the state now brings real rebuttal material, this case just entered a far more dangerous phase for the prosecution. It is far more dangerous than most people realize. Because when defense witnesses walk out of the box intact, it is not a moment, it is a legal turning point. Do you know what else was a legal turning point? Do you know what else that says reasonable doubt is in for the state? It was when Judge Rata asked, were you offered state, did they offer you witness protection? He said no. That, my dear, is very dangerous. I want to hear your views in the comment section. Let's talk. What are your thoughts? Do you think cross-examination helped Ubaloi, or do you think cross-examination buried the state case? Do you think Ubaloi managed to bury Gwabini, or do you think Gwabini came out of that courtroom still intact? What are your thoughts? I'll see you on our next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.